Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Asadullah AI and I am a student of Rehan Allahwala Teacher Training School. I am currently learning about modern teaching method, technology, communication, and how we can improve the education system for the future. Today I am going to share my review of an interesting and inspiring video titled The Future of Learning by Sugata Mitra. I found this video very interesting because it made me think about an important question: what will learning look like in the future? Will students always learn in the same way we learn today? Will teacher always stand in the front of a classroom and give information while students simply listen and memorize? Or can technology, curiosity, collaboration, and independent learning create a completely different education system? These are some of the questions that Sugata Mitra discussed in this talk. Now I would like to talk a little about Sugata. After watching this video, I became curious about Sugata Mitra, so I searched about him on the internet to learn more about who he is and what he has done in the field of education. During my research, I found out that Sugata Mitra is a well-known educational researcher who has worked extensively on education, technology, and the way children learn. He was also a professor of educational technology at Newcastle University. One of most interesting thing I learned about him was his famous hole in the wall experiment. In 1999, he placed an internet connected computer in a wall in an area of New Delhi where children has limited access to technology. The children were not given formal computer training. Instead, they started exploring the computer themselves and even helped each other how to use it. This experiment made Sugata Mitra think about an important question: can children learn by themselves when they have access to technology, information, and opportunity to work together? His research eventually led to the idea of self-organized learning environment or SOL. In this approach, students work together in small groups, explore interesting questions, use the internet and other resources, and try to discover answers on their own. While researching him, I also found out that Sugata Mitra received the TED Prize in 2013. Through the TED Prize, he developed his vision of the school in the cloud, which focused on creating learning environment where children could explore and learn with the help of technology and online support. And other interesting part of his work is the Granny Cloud, where online mentors connected with children and encourage them during their learning process. After doing this research, I understood the message of his future of the learning videos much better. In my understanding, Sugata Mitra's main idea is that we should not give only student information and answer. We should also give them opportunities to ask questions, explore research, collaborate, and discover answers for themselves. I personally found this idea very inspiring, especially as a student of the Rehan Allahwala Teacher Training School, because it made me think about the changing role of teachers. A teacher should not only be a person who gives information. A teacher can also be a guide, mentor, and facilitator who create an environment where students become curious, confident, and independent learner. That's why I found Sugata Mitra work very interesting and relevant to the future of education and learning. The video, The Future of Learning, presents the result of many years of Mitra's experiment with children education. One of the most important ideas in the talk is that children are capable of organizing their own learning. According to Mitra's experiment, groups of children with access to the internet can ins- investigate questions, find information, discuss their findings, and achieve learning objectives without depending completely on traditional instructions. This idea really impressed me because traditionally we often think that learning can only happen when a teacher explains everything to students. But Mitra gives us an other perspective. He suggested that instead of always giving the student answers, teacher can something give student good question and allow them to discover the answer themselves. For example, instead of simply telling student about climate change, a teacher could ask, what would happen to our planet if temperature continue to increase? Student could work in the group, search for information, discuss different ideas, and present their findings to the class. In this way, students are not just memorize information; they are thinking, researching, discussing, and learning together. The important, the importance of curiosity. And other important lesson I learned from the video is the importance of curiosity. Children naturally ask questions. They want to know why things happen and how things work. Sometimes our education system focuses so much on exam, marks, and memorize that students may stop asking questions. Mitra's approach encourages us to protect their curiosity. I believe that a good teacher should not only say, here is the answer. A good teacher should also ask, what do you think the answer might be? Small change can encourage students to think independently. Another major theme of the video is the role of technology. Today, students have access to enorm- enormous amount of information through computer, smartphones, and the internet. This means that the teacher is no longer the only source of information. However, I would think this means that teachers are no longer important. Instead, I think the role of teacher is changing. The teacher can become facilitator, mentor, guide, and motivator. A teacher can help students identify reliable information, ask better questions, work together respectfully, and they turn information into real understanding. Mitra's school in the cloud model also combines technology with mentoring rather than simply leaving students completely alone. One thing I practically liked about Mitra's approach is collaborative learning. Students can work in the group and share their knowledge. One student may find one piece of information and other student may discover something different, and together they can build a better understanding. This teaches students an important skill for the real world, working with other people. In my opinion, education would not only prepare students to the past examinations. It would prepare them to solve problem, communication, cooperate, think, creativity, and continue learning through their lives. What I learned as a teacher training student. As a student of Rehan Allahwala Teacher Training School, this video is especially meaningful to me because I am learning how teaching can be improved. This video made me realize that being teacher does does not simply mean standing in front of a student and delivering a lecture. A teacher should create an environment where students feel comfortable asking questions. A teacher should encourage students to explore. A student, a teacher should allow students to make mistakes and learn from those mistakes. And most importantly, a teacher should help students become independent learners. This is something I would like to apply in my own teaching journey. One important point of balance. At the same time, I think we should understand Mitra's ideas carefully. The technology and self-directed learning can be powerful tools, but students still need guidance. Not every piece of information available online is correct, and not every student has equal access to technology or the internet. Therefore, I believe the best approach is not to completely remove teachers from education. Instead, we should combine teachers plus technology plus curiosity plus collaboration. Teacher can provide direction and emotional support, while technology can provide access to information and learning resources. Overall, I found the future of learning very inspiring. This video changed the way I think about relationships between teachers and students. Before watching it, we might think that the teacher's main responsibility is to provide knowledge. After watching it, we think differently. The teacher responsibility is also to create opportunities for students to discover knowledge themselves. The future classroom may not be a place where students simply sit quietly and listen. It could become a place where students ask questions, work together, use technology, investigate problems, share ideas, and create solutions. In conclusion, Sugata Mitra's future of learning, gives us a powerful message. Learning does not always have to be enrolled by traditional methods. Children have curiosity, creativity, and the ability to learn from one another with access to the right technology. Meaningful question, supportive teachers, and collaborative environment, students can become more active participants in their own education. For me, the biggest lesson from this video is that a teacher should not only give answer, a teacher should inspire students to ask better questions and discover their own answer. As a future teacher, I want to remember this idea and try to create a learning environment where my students are not afraid to ask questions, explore new ideas, use technology wisely, and learn from each other. I believe the future of education is not about teacher versus technology. It is about teachers using technology to empower students. Thank you everyone for listening to my review. I hope you found my review helpful, useful, and that this video also encourage you to think about one important question. How can we create a better way to learning for the next generation. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.